Satchel Paige, and the Negro baseball leagues. In the United States, immigration was mostly an East Coast phenomenon. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, most immigrants arriving on American shores were largely coming into New York City. When they arrived at the Garden Castle Depot and later Ellis Island, they moved right into segregated communities. There was a Jewish ghetto, a Lithuanian ghetto, an Irish ghetto, and so on. But the game of baseball had an interesting way of bringing them all together. See, when folks went to baseball games, there was no specific seating areas for one group or another. That's why baseball was called America's game. You became an American at the ballpark. People from all over the world showed up at the ballpark as one unified body. But when they left, they returned to their Polish, Italian, and Russian ghettos. Baseball embraced America's melting pot as long as it didn't include Black folks. Now, folks will say anything to make themselves feel better about getting older and dying. It's nothing but a number. You're only as old as you feel. I'm 159 years young. Yeah, it might be nothing but a number, but if the number is over 70 and you're counting the years you've been on this earth, you're not exactly the little green sprout. And do me a favor, if you ever hear me say, I'm blankety blank years young, hold a pillow over my face good and tight. But that's all right. There are worse things than getting old. Not getting old, for one. And if there was one dude who made you believe you really were as young as you felt, it was the pitcher, Satchel Paige. Paige was born in Alabama in 1906. He started to pitch in reform school, where he spent 5 years beginning when he was 13. Now, if you know anything about Satchel Paige, you know that he had what they called a hesitation pitch. He had learned it as a boy when he and his friends would pass a gang of mean older white boys. Satchel had to throw rocks and bricks to protect himself. He'd wind up that brick, but then hesitate while the other boy flinched and bent over. And when the white boy had made himself into a big fat target, crouching there on the ground, Satchel would throw the brick and knock his brains out. That became the hesitation pitch that Paige started playing baseball. When Paige started playing baseball. Pow. After that, he pitched for over 2 decades in the Negro leagues before Major League Baseball was integrated. The Negro teams started forming in the 1880s after Black folks got left out of the major leagues. These were all Black teams, like the Homestead Grays and the Philadelphia Giants, but they didn't get good and organized until 1920, when the Negro National League was founded. I was shocked when I found out that the Negro leagues in baseball made more money per player than the white leagues. That's right. They made more money than Stan Musial and all the big boys. For one thing, they played 12 months out of the year. They didn't have 9 months off where they could go drink and do any fool thing they wanted. But back to Satchel Paige. You may have heard some Satchel Paige sayings like, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you were? Or don't look back, something might be gaining on you. Or don't pray when it rains if you don't pray when the sun shines. My favorite story about Satchel is this one. Sometimes the Negro teams would play the best white baseball team in the county and the Negroes would wipe them out. Probably the greatest thing that came out of this for me was a story about Babe Ruth. Ruth set the home run record worldwide. Nobody plays baseball but Americans and 1 or 2 other countries, but privileged folks can declare anything they do as being worldwide. The Babe was the home run king. He hit 714 homers, a record that stood for almost 50 years until a Black man, Hank Aaron, broke it in 1974. By the way, take a good look at a picture of Babe Ruth and tell me that big fat dude didn't have some Black blood in him. It was a good thing he could hit because he sure couldn't run. Look at some videos of him going around the bases after he hit a home run. If he had moved any slower, he would have been going backward. So in his day, Babe Ruth became the greatest star of any sport. So now he's coming to St. Louis, where Satchel Paige is playing with the Browns, because the Negro League, which was run by white folks, would go into the big stadiums while the white team was on the road. Babe Ruth comes up to bat. Paige is pitching. Babe Ruth never hit a Satchel Paige pitch in his life. But now, pow, Ruth smacked the ball out of the stadium. Satchel runs over to third base and starts trash talking Ruth, saying, "You dirty dog. You better thank God for me," he said. "I let you hit that pitch." Why? So the black folks in the stand will get to see what folks are going crazy over. I just wanted them to see. See, we had to turn away thousands of people who wanted to see you today. But for the ones who got in, I just wanted my people to see you and see what all the fuss is about. See if you ever hit me again in your life. And for the rest of that game, the Babe didn't get any part of a pitch Satchel threw. Now that's loving your people. Oh man, you talk about humanity? Satchel Paige was saying, this isn't about me. This is about all the people who come to these games. Okay? After that, what is baseball? After that. I was saying how Satchel Paige can make you believe you were as young as you felt. Here's what I'm talking about. After Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, Satchel became Major League Baseball's oldest rookie at 42. A baby could have been born when Satchel started playing ball. Grown up to play ball himself and found himself on the same team with that Methuselah of the mound. Satchel pitched with the St. Louis Browns till he was within spitting distance of 50. Any 50-year-old reading this, think about how your back felt the last time you stayed on your feet too long. And then think about Paige standing out there on that mound for 9+ innings. And not just standing there either, reaching way back, kicking that foot out like he learned to do in reform school, launching that fastball and striking folks out. Satchel Paige. Spell his name Satchel, last name Paige, Paige.